Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here today for another Smith.ai Masters Series webinar. I'm Maddy Martin. I am the VP of Marketing at Smith.ai. We're a 24/7 virtual receptionist service. We handle calls, chats, texts, and Facebook messages for small businesses across the country, 24/7, English and Spanish, and a whole lot more, intake, scheduling, payments, you name it. So if we can be of service to you, hopefully you'll check us out. Now, immediately for your attention is the session that we have today presented by Cody Muenster of Cultivate Advisors, who is a really shiny beacon of light and authenticity when it comes to business advisors and consultants who may adopt that name but haven't necessarily earned it. Let me tell you, there are a lot of stripes on his arm. So we're going to be talking about with Cody, is your business running you, or are you running your business? 5 steps to maximize your business and crush your goals. So we're going to be talking about evaluating where you currently are and the most important aspects of your business, identifying your vision for the next 10 years, how to set clear, measurable goals on a macro scale, how to use KPIs or key performance indicators to hold accountability for yourself, your teams, especially as you're growing and starting to build a staff under you to ensure that you're achieving your goals. And then how to be prepared to accomplish your best year ever. Now, of course, we're recording this in the fall of 2021. So we're talking really about your best year ever in 2022, but I'm sure many of the concepts here will stand the test of time. So Cody, just introduce yourself for this group and we can get into it.
Thanks a lot, Maddy. I'm super excited to be with you and my friend, wherever you're zooming from. It's great to see you. And hi from Dallas, Texas. That's just really cool just to see how easy this technology is to connect with people all over the world. I love this aspect of it. But, I'm going to just go ahead and share some information with you today. And I really want to just have a better understanding for the group. So before we jump into that, can you just put in the chat, either what was actually to start with, so I have a better pulse of who I'm talking with. Am I talking to a solopreneur or am I talking with someone with employees right now? Because that'll help dictate a little bit of the conversation going forward. So can you just go in the chat down below for everyone that's watching and just tell me if you have employees, how many, or if you're just a solopreneur today, just so I have a better understanding. Don't be shy. It's okay. And 8 employees. Awesome. Anybody else? I'll wait for maybe 1 or 2 more. Solo. Okay, Ellen, that's okay. Okay, great. Employees, 10 direct reports in my team. Yeah, okay, thanks, Maddy. So it's going to be helpful for no matter what stage you're at today. And this is going to be like, we'll get right into how we can cover both phases, because really, I want to make sure that this is a timeless presentation that you can go back to. There'll be some information and some resources that are going to be shared with you that are going to be helpful in the very near future, but a lot of these principles you're going to be able to come back to. And really, when I think about, the purpose of this conversation, it's to really support Smith.ai clients in their community, to help them achieve financially rewarding businesses that grow and thrive. We've done several of these presentations now together, and we love the partnership that we have with you, Maddy, and Smith.ai. Our small business owners use and need a lot of your services, and vice versa. So this is why we're here and talking a little bit more about this today. And when I think about this today, actually is not only this, but what do you want to get as an outcome? I mean, for us, I want to see you get at least one idea of significant value. And I want to get a jump start and help you think about where you want to be and how do you want to accomplish and maximize next year. All right. So the theme for today is your business running you, or are you running the business? I'm going to give you 5 ways, probably 6 or 7, maybe even more, but at least some 5 key principles to help you maximize and crush your goals. And a little bit of background on me, I'm a business advisor and partner here at Cultivate Advisors. My experience actually started in the franchise industry when I was 20 years old. And I started in my first franchise, ran that for 2 years, happened to be in the top 10 performers, 10% of performers out of like 200 different franchisees. I had 12 employees that worked for me. And I really grew up and made every mistake at an early age as I possibly could, and hopefully corrected as much as that as I could. And maybe now I've learned some better lessons and just how to correct those things going forward. But after I ran that business, I grew and scaled 3 other companies, everything from technology to marketing to automotive. A lot of people don't know that one. It's a different story. And some of the things that I'm just most passionate about is our team at Cultivate Advisors. If this is the first time Ann or anyone that's on this call today is just listening to this, we have over 50 different advisors that have ran and scaled their own businesses for better parts of a decade, that are extremely passionate, that just want to help people grow and scale their own business and have a successful exit. So if that's you and you're thinking, I want to continue to either grow, thrive, meet a specific lifestyle, because to me, the business should be a vehicle to help you get what you want in life, right? To help you reach that fulfillment need. So I think a couple of the themes that I see come up a lot is people wanting to hit their goals faster, and they also want to have their working hours in more moderation. Some people love their job and all that stuff, but not all. Most of the time, there's a couple of freedoms. You either want more freedom of money, freedom of time, or freedom of choice, right? Andy, you're shaking your head at this. And, today, I think if you follow these principles, you're going to help achieve those faster. And maybe not, because every obstacles are going to be in your business as you grow and scale. The reality is, though, if you use these principles and this framework, this can be a timeless thing to help you achieve that and the lifestyle that you want and what freedoms that you want. And what I'm planning on doing here with you for the next 51 minutes is to make sure I bring as much enthusiasm, energy, and just bring out the best in you wherever you are. Just join me. I promise you, I'm going to ask you to do a little workshop time. But if you stay with this, I think you're going to have some significant jump starts and just frameworks to help you plan and just accomplish whatever you want next year. And that is my value to you today. All right. So our mission as a company is to help passionate entrepreneurs and business owners achieve financially rewarding businesses that thrive. Our company, this is the first time you've ever heard of Cultivate Advisors, has grown by over 600% over the last 3 years, landing us on the Inc. 500 and 5,000 list 3 straight years in a row. Many people ask us just, how did you achieve this? And we have these types of events to share our strategies and our tools that have effectively worked for us so that they can also work for you. Now, when our clients come to us, typically they often feel either overwhelmed, they're not satisfied with their progress, or they've plateaued. And when you think about it, like, we all have to wear these business hats. And some of you love wearing certain hats and the other ones are a lot more dusty, right? Let's be real. So our goal today is to make sure that we can come in with you and just help you manage these hats better so that you can achieve what you want to achieve. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to go through a planning workshop on how to really set clear goals that are transparent to your team or for yourself, because it's got to start with you as the owner and the visionary of the company. And then from there, I'm going to teach you a couple of frameworks to help you create really an outstanding year for you, something that hopefully it just stretches you beyond limits, but also that you can really accomplish something audacious for you. And here's our web, for those of you who have been on Zoom before, chat with me, engage, please share your thoughts. We can have conversation. There's going to be a couple of polls that are launched, and then we're going to have some post-webinar support resources to follow and continue to build the plan from today. Hey, we're not going to accomplish everything you want to next year from a planning perspective and as far as a strategy in 50 minutes, right? We're just not. So you're going to have to take some of these things and I'm going to get you started. And then we're going to give you some really, really powerful things to help you keep going. And here's my promise to you is, if you share what's at least one takeaway, so I know you were listening to some of what I said. If you share what was your biggest takeaway at the end, I promise I'm going to share some really incredible resources to you. That's just being a VIP guest of Maddy and Smith.ai today. And that's my promise. All right. So like I said, this content is for all entrepreneurs at all stages, whether you're a hustler, solopreneur. Don't worry about the label. It's just something that we see in these phases. An experimenter basically means you have a couple of employees and you're starting to find your rhythm and your groove in your business. A visionary, you probably have 5 to 10 employees, and you're someone who's looking at taking the company into the bigger phases, the next direction. If you're a systemizer, you're someone that's pretty much established a leadership team in your organization, we find, and you have this business machine that's printing money pretty significantly for you, and you can continue to grow and scale. And what we find is when you reach this influencer stage, the influencer stage is where you can be like a Tony Robbins, maybe not to that level, but you can go out in the public, right? And you can influence people, and that is your jam. You like to go on podcasts, go out into the public eye, make a difference, and the business is just running. It's just running by itself. So here's what we're going to do. Just do it today. This is not rocket science. I don't think I'm going to knock you off your chair. Like, sorry that I'm not trying to like set us up for failure today, because I just want this to be so easy. Simplicity is the goal for execution, right? Amen. All right. So let's dive in. My question to you is, are you happy with the progress you're making towards your goals? Are you happy with the progress? Are you living the life you wanted by owning this business? You know, running a business can be kind of like a roller coaster at times. I don't know which one you relate to in this picture, but I know 2020 brought this out in a lot of people. And, you know, the reality is, I think whether you're male or female, I just wanted to find a picture that just, what's that vision? What do we really want? I find this picture brings a sense of peace as a business owner. There's the sunlight, your hands back, you feel good, you're accomplished. Clearly you're working hard, and you've built something that you feel really proud of, that's doing something significant in the world. And isn't that what we're after? But really, when it comes to business, you had to be more innovative than ever in this last 12 to 18 months, isn't it? I mean, some of you, innovation had to be a state of mind and massively change what your service offering had to be almost overnight at times. But so in the chat, what type of, I just want to get a better sense of where are we going? And if we're talking about planning perspective, please put in this in the chat box, what type of profit growth are you wanting to see? And I say the word profit versus revenue because I want to know, you know, really just overall, like after revenue and all expenses before tax, like what are you actually looking at and doing? Are you looking at growing 0 to 10%? Are you looking at growing, 10 to 25, 25 to 50, 50% to 100%? Please put in the chat for those of you who are here, just so I have an understanding of how big do you want to get next year? How much more profit, cash, dollars, not cash, profit do you want to see out of the business this next year? And I'm going to wait until I at least get one response. And does anyone want to, there we go. 25%. Thank you very much. 20% increase. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Ann. Okay, so my next question is to follow that. We're going to launch a quick poll. This is going to be anonymous for those of you that just put that in the chat. Thank you, just so I can have a better understanding. I just want to understand, so we're tailoring this to you. How are you performing in profit this year versus last year, if that's the goal? So I heard 20 to 50%.
All right, we've got 2 answers so far. 3 answers.
Perfect. So some of you said mostly flat. Some of you saw growth by 5 to 25%. So if that's the case, go ahead and end that poll, Maddy.
Sure.
If that's the case, the reality is we're going to have to do something. Oh, here, I can share these results. Stop sharing that. If that's going to be true, based on what you wanted to see happen next year as far as profit goal, isn't it true that we're going to have to make some significant changes, right? It's not talking about maybe an overhaul, but we're going to have to do some things a little bit differently if we're going to achieve that type of growth. That's pretty significant when it comes to profit, not revenue. And the reason I bring up profit versus the other ones is because when I look at 2020 as a company, we had some interesting stats that came back. We had worked with over 485 businesses ranging in 47 different industries in 2020. We also collectively saw those businesses grow by $76 million. And the average business with us grew their bottom line profit by 34%, all right, or cumulative 12 million bucks during a pandemic year. So why I bring that up is because I believe what I'm going to share with you and these frameworks are a big part of that, and how we really help think about this. And I want you to think about this too, and make sure that you're operating in this fashion. Is how we do this is to make sure that they have a balanced approach. Everyone that we talk to, whether it's on a call like this or a client one-on-one, And how we're doing this is what we call our business methodology. Our business methodology is basically taking any business and saying, okay, let's start with vision and goals, which we're going to talk a little bit more about today. But then after that, when you look at the basic functions of the business, the financial engine right in the middle, picture this as a propeller blade. And this is an engine that takes you to a higher and higher heights within your business. But within the propeller, the middle engine is your financials. So how do you run your financials? How do you look at that? Do you understand the cash, all the statements and the scorecards within that? Plus, from there, then is an extension of how many sales of what we need is going to equal our revenues or our financials that we want to make. How many leads are we going to need from the marketing side? What are our tactics? What are we going to do from recruiting, and how are we going to attract top talent? And then how are we leading those people to peak performance, which we're going to hit on? And then overall, this black section that's interlaced is how are you being productive from, how do you manage time, and how do you efficiently manage throughout these different phases within the business? Okay. So if we're going to do this, I want to talk about just planning. Something brought you here today. So how far along, if at all, no big deal, quick poll, how far along are you in your 2022 planning right now? Have you not started yet? We'll launch that. Do you have thoughts but no formal planning? Are you halfway through the formal plan, or your formal plan is complete? I just want to launch that poll just to see who responds to that real quick. Haven't started? Thank you. That's okay.
I can't do it for some reason. It's not letting me. It says there's an error because there was another poll that has started or shared.
Oh, no worries. I think this is good.
Ellen, are you able to do it, or do you want me to read it off?
Yeah, as I said, I just want to see if has anyone else started or has not yet started, or you just have like formal plans. So if there's anyone outside of Ellen that wants to share in this.
Okay, I see a few answers. Haven't started, meeting scheduled for planning. Thought about it, but not started.
Yet. The reason why, okay, perfect. We're just going to keep going. The reason why I asked you this question is because I want to give you a simple outline from a time perspective of what the most successful companies are doing. These are the gazelles, if you've heard of that phrase before. These are the companies that grow 20 to 30% year over year. And what you're looking at is a snapshot view of a planning framework pyramid, which timelines what we see the most successful companies do at this stage. So if you're looking at this, for like, what am I, in the beginning, in September, this time of the year, these companies are typically just looking at reconnecting with their vision and long-term goals. What do they want to see happen in the long term? And even in the short term, it's starting to get a better sense of just like, where are we taking this company and what's important, because the reality is, after third quarter is over, this third quarter was the most significant, not in all businesses, but typically the majority of companies see the biggest like push. If you haven't hit your goals, or you're not on trend to hit your goals this quarter, through this quarter, you're probably not going to hit it. And some of you have probably been the unicorns and shown that that's proven, but typically we want to get you ahead of the game so you're not playing catch up, right? You don't want to be working your butt off unless that's the industry you're in November and December, because I hope you love to be with your families or to do the things that you love, take some time off, recharge. And that's why like sharing this with you can be really helpful. So these companies are typically having a vision connection set. And then what also is happening is, their annual and metric or macro goals are typically set in September as well. And then the next month of October, which we're about to step into, is they've got their KPIs identified. KPIs, just so that we're all on level ground, is key performing indicators. What are the things that we got to measure that's going to help us hit the top line? And then we have identified initiatives that are prioritized by November. Okay. You're meeting with your team or yourself, and you're really sitting down and you're saying, these are the sprint things that we're going to work on. And we've really got the initiative implementation planning of how we're actually going to go do that. So to really follow that suit is what's important. And how you start to achieve significant growth is you got to have clear goals. Again, not rocket science, but my promise with you is just keeping things simple. So from our experience, the majority of business owners, no matter what stage, how many employees we start working with, don't really have clear goals. And I'm not talking about, you might say, but I've got really clear goals for the business. That's great. How clear are they for your personal life? Or you might say, I've got really clear goals for my personal life, but they're not for your business. And why that's important is because these are all tied together, from your energy, from your fulfillment, like everything that's experienced. If you lead people, and even if you're a solopreneur, you lead people because you lead yourself. It starts with making sure that these are clear. And if you don't have them, that's okay, because we're going to work on them and make sure you start thinking about different ways to look at this so that we can improve this area as a starter. But I'm going to go into now in a deeper planning. So what you're looking at, I'm going to take that pyramid that you saw, that 3D version, and I'm just going to make it front version. I think this is 2D. That's what I'm talking about, is just a front facing, like, here's the steps. Let's begin looking at this pyramid framework and break it down. So if you have a pen or paper right now, start just jot these down. All right. We're going to take some notes. We're going to zip through this pretty quick. But the good news is I might be having some free resources with you that's going to give you this so you can work on it afterwards. Hint, you will. But what I want you to start with is 3 to 10 years. Why 3 to 10 years? Well, 3 to 10 years is this time where most people probably don't have a clear vision of where they want to be in a decade. But I think a lot of people can figure out where they want to be in 3 years. And some of you, that's okay. I just want you to start on just stretching your mind a little bit further and to say, hey, in the year after the next, where would I like to be in my life, both personally and professionally, for me to be really happy with the progress? Okay. It just is this ultimate question that becomes a guiding light for you, and how we tend to think about that together. And when we're thinking about working with our clients is in the future where there are no limits, right? Don't put restrainers on it. What do you want for yourself? And what do you want for working hours, profit, personal income, vacation time? Start with the easy ones, but then get more audacious. Get more audacious, because the reality is, and I would say the same thing for you, Maddy, if you're not compelled or excited or have a butterfly effect on that vision, what are the chances that it's going to be really something you're going to push towards? If it's something like lose 10 pounds versus I want to have vibrant, fulfilling energy for my loved ones, or I want to make $2 million in profit because I can give to my community and just to any philanthropic or my church or whatever that might be, and you see the bigger connection, well, the chances of you going after that are going to be way more significant. So you got to get lit up. And if you're not lit up or you're not good at this stage, talk with someone, whether it be us or just a friend. Because if I just skip through this and say, have clear goals, have a good vision, come on, that's not going to help you. You got to start with this. So if you're with me today, I want to say congratulations, because how clear is it? How clear you are in this stage is going to determine how your people follow you. And they're going to follow you when you are really, really clear of what this is. So make sure it's something that pulls you. This is a Tony Robbins phase. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. I love that man. He's for those of you who don't know Tony Robbins, he's one of the top business and personal peak performing coaches in the world. And so when you go to his events, you'll get a clear sense. If you want something, it starts here at the top, and then it's got to have this other angle where it's got to pull you towards that future. If you don't have a pulling future, it's not going to happen, most likely. Okay. Let's go to the next part. Let's keep moving, because after you've done that, now you get to look at 12. This is the 12-month cycle, the annual, like take a 30,000 foot view of 2022 and start asking yourself, just keep it really simple. What do we want the company, revenue and profit, to do? Why revenue and profit? Well, because you don't have a company if you don't make money, right? So start there, get those two out, and then have an other category. An other category can be, again, I have a client who the other category for them is typically, I always try and encourage people to have a personal goal here. I had one person who wanted to take a month off from their business and actually see the business grow during that time. He did that. He left and he took his wife and his stepfather, his father-in-law rather, to Africa, and the business grew 8% over that time period in a 30-day window. Pretty awesome. You know, that was a significant milestone, something that was really audacious for them. So come up with something, then the other category that's got like 3 to 5 things listed in there, but I would encourage you to pick something personal, something that's going to light you up. From there though, here's where we got to start with these KPIs. What key performance indicators do you need to measure to hit our macro goals? So these are the things that if you look at your sales, if you look at marketing, recruiting, means that if I hit these goals, I will hit my macro goals. There's typically 2 to 3 things that we're measuring with everyone that we work with that are going to be these leading indicators that are going to hit. So a lot of times it's just number of leads coming in or number of proposals given. Could be, we need to find out what those are. So if you're really clear of what those are right now, that's going to help you hit the upline, the macro goal. I want you to give yourself a high five right now. If you're not sure what those 2 to 3 things are, that is a key starting point after you get really clear on your vision, because you got to know what you're going to be looking at. That's going to matter in a moment as we get more into it. All right. So I'm going to keep moving. You with me? Maddie, you with me? All right. That's cool. Here we go. So next thing is we got to get really clear on these initiatives. So what initiatives will help us get to our KPIs? Meaning, break down the KPIs into these bite-sized goals over the next 3 to 6 months. So if you accomplish these activities, you're going to hit your KPIs, which will then hit your macro goals. Everything rolls up to the next one. So these are these initiatives that you're going to have, and it might be hiring that rock star. If you have a rock star on your team that you recently hired, it might be developing that person to peak performance and whatever that looks, or you got to get them over a certain threshold or baseline in performance. It might be finding the strategic referral partner for the business that's going to feed us opportunities multiple times a month, whatever that might be. But you got to pick something there that's going to get you really clear of this is where we got to start. Because if you want to jump out of the gates in January and you want to have a head start, you don't want to be planning all this then. You want to start already being like, we're going to execute on this. We know exactly what we're going to go do. And here's what we're going to go after first in the first quarter. Okay. All right. So this is going to be provided for you. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet on this. That's going to help you. There's a couple of really cool planning tools, but I want to get you started with something. So right now I'm going to share with you in a moment. This is where I'm actually going to put some music on. Literally, I'm going to put some music on. And I want you to sit for a moment and just start thinking about the different propeller. Remember the propeller blades, in the beginning where we showed you the different phases of the business? We're going to start with evaluating all these functions, which we just discussed. And then what we're going to do with them is build the rest of the plan from there. And then as a business owner, you're going to start taking this and we're going to set goals per category within these. The reason why we want to do this is because if you have goals per propeller in your business or pillar, whatever you want to call them, it helps you make significant shifts symbiotically. So they all are working together and they all have little changes that make, because if you think about an airplane propeller, Maddie, what happens if you're flying on an airplane? Like picture a propeller right now that's going around, and it could be in a boat or an airplane. If one of the wings and the blades gets dented, what do you think the flight is going to feel like when you're flying?
Wow, pretty bumpy and probably a downward trajectory.
Yes, because they're all important, right? So it's going to feel wobbling out of control. And you might say, but I'm really good in all of these, but I'm not good. I mean, they are all interconnected. So
I have another analogy for you, actually, because I used to row crew. So if you've ever been in an 8-person boat with oars going in the water at the same time and yours doesn't, it's coming back and hitting you in the face probably. So yeah. I've actually been in that situation, not in a propeller, but in a boat.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that other one. I appreciate that. So it's just a simple analogy. So what we're going to do is we're going to share this with you and you're going to have this to work off of, but I'm going to keep it really simple for you today. Okay. Go back to the easy button. I want you to write down the categories on the left. Okay. Just write top down on a sheet of paper or on your desktop, and just write financials, marketing, sales, recruiting, leadership, and all. And next to each one, I want you to do one thing, which is what's one thing going well when it comes to how you manage your financials, and what's one thing that could be better. And I want you to do that simple, what's one thing going well and could be going better for every level here. That is going to be something that this can be an exercise that you take to your team if you have employees, and really you want to get them, or at least the key leaders in your organization, to evaluate with you, because after you do that with your leadership team or another business partner, whoever, it helps you decide of the things that you have to get better, what to go then do as far as the key goal for each function and what actions you then need to take. Okay. So again, we're going to give you 3 minutes because it should be easy. It's just, and why not do more of those? Let's be honest. Like, you could write a whole bunch of stuff that could be probably in the better category of what could be better, but that's not going to help your thinking. I want you to actually give yourself a pat on the back and say, what is one thing that's going well in each of these that you can feel good about? And I'm going to give you a few moments. So Maddy, I'm just going to play some cool music. I'm going to come off share. And then if people want to use any of the worksheets that we have in the chat box, I think that's there for them too. So everyone good on the directions? Yes, you're already speeding through this. Again, I'm going to give you till 2:36 and then we'll come back. All right. All right. I am firing up my super motivational upbeat music now. So as a reminder, you're writing down what's one thing going well in each of these categories of your business and what's one thing that could be better to help us set goals going forward for the company going forward. Got about 1 more minute, and then we're going to jump right back into it. Okay, we're back. I hope you crushed that. If you didn't, no big deal. At least you got started. So the goal with this, again, is to give you a runway start on helping you evaluate what are we going to do next year? Because I want you to get a head start. If you want to grow 20 to 50 to 100% in profit next year, we got to get started on this. And we have to start taking a look at where we're going to go with this. So here's what we're going to do from here. Once you fill this out, when you get these worksheets, here's what's going to happen. You're going to see this come into play on the worksheet that we're going to provide with you at the end of today, which is this. It's going to say, what's the key goal? What are the actions? But then you're going to prioritize the categories. Like, which one do you got to go and crush first? Typically, no surprise, it's either fixing the cash flow, or it's working on marketing and sales, or having the right people. Oh my goodness, they're all important. So you got to figure out which one is going to make the biggest difference, not only to the bottom line, but it might be investing in people. We invested in a ton of people into our business, and we actually took a loss in one of the years of our business growth because we knew that investing in these people and developing them, individually developing them and having those plans was going to significantly hit our revenue goals, that what we wanted to achieve in years 2, 3, 4 down the line, because we knew our long-term goals. So what you're going to do in the next column, and I hope this is just something that helps you like really focus, is I want you to consider when you're writing this down and you're evaluating this, is what's the value to complete that over a 12-month period? Come up with whatever value you want. I like to actually just take a guesstimate and just really say, one could argue, how do you quantify that? But the reality is, if you really say in sales, hey, if we do this thing, we'll probably at least close 10% or 5% more deals if we work on doing this. Well, if I took that and times that out by how many deals I'm going to close next year, I can figure that out on an annual basis. So the nice thing about that is you can run through this column in the right. You can come up with what that value is going to be worth, and that can help you then prioritize where do you start and where do you focus on. Okay. So next is, here's something I'm going to share with you that you're going to see. So you just reflected on what was going well and what needs to improve. You're going to get this worksheet so that you can use this year after year, and you can literally just, you can share this with your teams if you want, but at least everyone can reach and write down, what do they think is going well? And then have them rate 0 to 10. How, like, how well are we doing in financials? 10 being the best. Are we really good here? Are we good on our marketing? What could be better? Then what we're going to do is you're going to look at these categories, and it's going to start to help you make a clear map of how do you set goals per category, and you can work with your teams on it. We just talked about this. 2 other worksheets, though, that I think are really going to help you, which is, this is one that is a big snapshot to help you like wrap it all together. Meaning, what's the vision for the company? The thing that we talked about, again, it's just pointing people in the right direction, but then helping you break down the technical aspects of the business, which is, okay, in 1 year, what's our revenue profit? What's our average client size? How many clients do we need? At what conversion ratio? Like, I can go pretty deep with this, but again, we only have so much time. So I need you to like look at this and just be self-guided to the best of your ability. Hint, just so you know, everyone on this call today is going to get a free advising conversation with us, just so that you can just have this framework to create. And if you're not sure on how to fill it out in detail, we'll totally help you. That's what we do. We actually give this type of thing to business owners. This is our give back to the small business community. So this is why I'm sharing this with you. You can either do it on your own or you can have some help. And then the other one is going to be, after you see, then it's going to help you see by month, how do you actually go out and hit those, like what do we need to start estimating in profit, clients, and just to see how you can trend those out with some helpful hints. After that pyramid that I showed you, that front-facing pyramid, here's it all written down for you so you can really work through this and you can have a clear picture, because my friend, you can take this and you can share it with your team. And every month or week or quarter, at least, you can bring it up and say, okay, remember, this is what we're working on. Get your band in sync, get them all on the same page. Because when you do that, you're going to hit higher and higher revenues. You're going to get higher in performance from everybody. And you're going to have that all to go back to. So this is for you. You get to have this. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to launch a quick poll. I don't know if the poll works. Maddy, let me know if you can launch that 3rd poll. I just want to know, how much collaborative planning do you do? And if you're still with me, or whoever else is joining in that has employees,
will you try coding? I think for some reason it's confused that we were both playing with the polls.
It's okay. Actually, if you just don't mind just putting in the chat right now, how much collaborative planning do you do? Is it just you? And what I mean by collaborative planning is you're involving other people of your company, other partners, or another advisor or someone else. Is it just you? Do you have this? Is that something that you're hoping to involve more people into this year? Or do you actually have team members providing, plans to you that are involved in this process? Please just put that in the chat. Again, I just want to see how much collaborative planning you do. So if you have that, please put that in the chat. Thank you. I need to start doing it. Thank you, Darian. Appreciate your honesty. And some team members are involved. Awesome. And great start. Team is involved. Perfect. Because we want to figure out how to get them more involved. Isn't that the whole goal? I mean, what we find is how to really shift and grow a company is the development of your leadership team, right? I mean, those people providing plans to you, actually picture that, where you've got phases of the business, the marketing group or the sales team or whatever that might be, to actually, and even if it's one person in each department, that's okay. Just saying, this is our goals for this department, and they're providing that to you so you can help collaboratively plan together. That's the optimal. If we can get to that level, then we've game changed the business, because now it's a business that you're actually managing with people, and it's not just you. So accountability is going to start to play a huge part in this. So let's just say you want to make 5 million bucks next year, 5 million, 10 million, doesn't matter, pick the number. But how do we do that in our company? Well, how we do that is we take our org chart is just our people, and under each name, we assign a goal for who's going to bring in a portion of that amount of revenue. If it's sales, clearly that's pretty easy, but you can say Susie, John, and Tim are going to bring in X amount in sales. But then we're going to set KPIs on what 2 to 3 activities per person, which is either daily, weekly, or monthly, for them to produce that amount. Okay. So if there's sales, it may be a number. If I was watching activity from your sales department, some things that are pretty consistent is I might see a number of appointments goal. I might see a closing ratio goal. Like we want them to be at 40, 30, 40, 50%. And we're trying to monitor that metric. Now, if you're saying, well, Cody, what about like administrative? What about these other people that aren't related to sales? I have something for you to consider. If it's an administrative role, let's say you have someone that's in a secretarial role who doesn't maybe have some type of, revenue tied to them. This doesn't mean that they don't have an efficiency metric, okay? Or helping achieve a certain amount of Google reviews that might increase revenue. So it might be, say, how do I make this business more efficient with this person? What can I do to make everything in departments hum along? Or, if I get this person to submit and be part of getting our clients and customers to give 50 more Google reviews that could help our SEO, would be significant because it would help our word of mouth. They do all tie together. So what we want to do is make sure that we are managing people in the organization. We want to have 2 or 3 performance metrics that you're working with them, because my friend, here's what you got to think about. Just like a flight, you have to constantly course correct and make adjustments at a minimum. We advise a monthly trend review for those of you that have collaborative planning that you said with other team members. At a minimum, a monthly trend review. And for you, that might need to be weekly trending to stay on track with your goals. But a flight, you've heard this before, haven't you? A flight never goes directly A to B, city to destination. It doesn't go in a straight line. There's turbulence. It goes up and down and it goes left and right. But they're course correcting to make sure that you land on time. It's an amazing thing when you think about just sitting in an airplane. My goodness, you're flying at hundreds of miles an hour just sitting there. And for some reason, we get mad at the airports. I don't get it. Anyway, it's another topic. The point is, I want you to really just focus on figuring out what you got to track, what people need to be involved, and how do you start bringing collaborative planning, and just do simply, if you do nothing else, and just start doing a monthly trend report with each person in your company, or at least your leadership team. It's a huge starting point. And we find that even if you are doing it, great. Think about ways that you can tighten that up this year. Was it a little loose? How did they report the information to you? Did you pull it out of them when you walked into the meeting that day and said, hey, Steve, what's the sales reports this month? Or what's our closing ratios? Or did you find out that information ahead of time from that person in your company so that you could already pre-plan how you're going to lead that discussion? It's a very significant little shift. Okay. So I want to share with you just something that's possible, because Maddy, you asked me this question. It's like, okay, what type of results can people actually see from doing this? So I just want to give you a real client example. I want you to meet Matt. He's an attorney and a CPA. He's a partner in a law firm. Matt's an actual client of ours. I've been working with him personally for 4 years. But when we first started together, he was struggling and overwhelmed in the business with his schedule. He wasn't achieving his income goals. He's one of several partners within the organization, and he didn't have enough free days to enjoy his personal passions outside of the business. And over the years, adopting this framework that I just laid out with you, Matt is so consistent now. Matt and his law firm can explain what's possible for you. And I just want you to read something that I actually said. This is a real Google review. So I've been working with my business advisor, Cody, for 3 years, and we are still making small tweaks to produce higher revenue and better quality of life. See how they're both engaged in there? Revenue and quality of life. You got to tie them together. And I think that's the thing that most people don't lose sight of. It's just like, how do we grow the business? But if you're miserable, I don't think that's a fulfilling outcome. That being said, over the 3 years, of working with Cody. He's helped me triple my revenue all while working less. He's also a great mentor, advisor, helping me improve my business. I appreciate that. All that stuff is great. But what really matters there is that you can actually see someone that started multiple years back, did not have this framework in place, is growing a law firm with multiple partners involved, and now is constantly fine-tuning it with these tweaks. Okay. My friend, I want to take a second and just review a couple of things, because I want to just open up some time for questions if we have some, or to get you out a little bit early. So let's take the first one. Let's review. What did we cover? In order to really crush it this year and this thinking about this next year, we got to get really clear. And I challenged you. Remember, how clear is your 3 to 10 year vision? 1 year, what's your 90-day goals? Is it clear to you, both personally and professionally? Is it clear to your employees, the people that report to you? I have conversations with managers and right-hand staff of organizations and their leadership team all the time. And it blows me away. Multi-million dollar companies or solopreneurs. And I hear this and they don't have any idea where this company is headed in the next 3 to 5 years. And they come to me asking like, this is challenging. Well, no kidding, it's challenging. Because like, I don't know what the company's going to go do. So we got to go back to the owner and get clarity on that. And just, even if it's vague, at least you can start getting some direction. So it's super important to your people and for yourself. After that, though, we got to know what you need to track and measure monthly, weekly. You got to really work it back to the metric that makes sense. If you own a bakery, you're probably going to want to look at how many cupcakes did you sell per day. If you are, you're in insurance sales, you might want to look at a weekly report just to see how many appointments you set, so you know that you're going to hit your quotas of renewals and all this other stuff, right? But you got to get really specific. And we talked about that you got to measure that per role, right, on your organizational chart, and just who are your people? What are you going to track and measure with them? You can keep this easy. And then at a minimum, go out of here today and schedule a monthly reoccurring trend meeting with the appropriate team members to review and adjust going forward. Just like the plane, we're going to look at our trends. If we set $1 million goal and 3 months into it, we're way off of that number of hitting that, don't just keep coasting saying, well, it's $1 million or nothing. No, that doesn't make sense. Don't do that. It's just going to disappoint you. Like, it's okay to adjust and say, okay, it's not realistic. We set an audacious goal. Now it's going to be 750,000. Or it might be, I've had the situation, I've worked with a client for 3 years. There's the cabinetry company, and her goal was $1.3 million this year. She had that goal wrapped up at the end of September. It was already like, we knew she was going to hit that number. So do we just sit and take the time and go on vacation, or just like milk out the rest of the year? No, she actually wanted to continue to strive. We set a new trend, a new goal. So now her goal has changed, and it said, oh, well, let's see if we can do 1.5. We've never done that before. That would be exciting. So let's go after that. That's the whole point of this. And when you have a trend meeting, you're going to see if you're either on point or not, and it helps you make the necessary adjustments. Maddy, I'm going to include you into this, but I want to give some stuff. Okay, so we said that you're watching today. I want to say congratulations and virtual high five to you. You hung out with me for 51 minutes. I just appreciate you, and this want to help you. So here's some things that we're going to do that you're going to have. So number one, we're going to give you some free advising time to really, if you want to like just talk with another advisor, maybe you've worked with a business advisor or a coach before, that's great. Just work with someone. I think they can really help you. But if you haven't yet, we want you to experience this. We offer free advising time to people who are, really just people that are out to do audacious things in the world, who want to make a difference. And if that's you and you want to continue to grow and scale your company, or have a clear succession plan, or even how to take your company to the next stage, I'd love to help you. So we're going to offer you a free advising call. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give you a complimentary ticket to our small business conference. We have 500 businesses that attend this every year, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then I'm going to give you access to the goal planning templates that we covered here. But here's the first thing. All right, so I'm going to show you in the chat. Go ahead and fill out this. This is what I asked you for in the beginning. So in the chat, you're going to see this survey. So go to the chat link now. I think Amy has posted it. You see,
I just
Amy,
put it. Oh yeah, we both did.
Thanks, you too. Very simple, right? It's going to be just information, but I want to know what was your biggest takeaway today. So please take a moment and just like, what's the one thing that if you did this, it would make a difference for 2022 to help you achieve whatever personal and professional goals you want to see with your company. How useful was today? I hope this was timeless. Like I had said, I really care about these results. So be honest with me. I really care to over deliver. And then what free resources would you like to receive? Would you like to check out a free advising session and actually speak with an advisor? Would you like a ticket to Catapult? And what categories are your biggest challenges within the business? Just pick two and then submit. And then what you're going to find is you're going to have a link to our relationship manager, Stephanie. You're going to talk to her in a moment before I show you some things, but she's going to actually just talk with you just to learn where we could actually help you maximize the business and to get a better understanding of what you want to achieve. So the first thing on this is when it comes to free advising, just so you see what this is like, how we do this is just discover where are you needing to pick up where are the areas of opportunity? A lot of times people just don't know, honestly, as business owners, where they can maximize. There's like, I don't know what I don't know. We hear that all the time. We're going to help you uncover those blind spots. And then what we're going to do with our team of over 50 advisors is we're going to select the person that either has familiarity with your industry and has a proven track record of success, or someone that's done that consistently with that type of industry. So we're going to select the right advisor for you to talk to so we can maximize that time because that's valuable. And then the third thing is you're going to get a free roadmap. The advisor that you work with is going to literally take the worksheets that we work with you on and give you a 3 to 5 year outline of what you want to achieve both personally and professionally. And that's what you're going to get if you want to take advantage of that today. The second thing is Catapult. That's what I'm going to hit on this real quick. Catapult is our #1 business conference. I think Maddie's hopefully going to be a sponsor there this year.
Yeah, we are.
It is,
well, Smith.ai, not just me out of pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's Smith.ai.
I will be there though.
Sponsors.
Yes. And then good number of our team.
Yeah. October 21st. If you have this date on your calendar available, or I want you to come and join us because I want you to hang out with 500 other business owners on a virtual one-day event. We have 3 TEDx speakers who we've invested personally, I'm telling you this, 30 grand. We spent $30,000 on 3 business drivers that have proven track records in 3 key areas. And I want you to know what they are. So you're actually like, why should I even come to this? Because I'm going to give you a free ticket. I care that you have massive success this year. This is like why I do this work professionally. I just want to see you thrive. It's just something that I get excited about. But number one, you're going to have someone that's going to be talking with you on how to develop your mindset that will help you elevate yourself and your team. He's a former NBA basketball player, and he's going to take your mindset, turning it into a shark mindset of how you can just continue to thrive in every obstacle that comes your way this next year, because who the heck knows what's going to come. So the second speaker that we have, you're going to love her. She's going to help you learn how to create super fans to help you unlock unlimited referrals within your business. I think that alone is going to be worth it. And then the third one is you're going to hear from an economist, a specific small business economist who's going to be sharing the biggest upcoming trends with you that you need to know so that you're prepared for the unexpected. You need to start thinking about mitigating risks, but not only risk mitigation, how to maximize opportunities in the marketplace in 2022. And even better, this is all about taking action. Hey, I don't know, like I put you in a little mini workshop. I did it as quickly as I could, but you're literally going to leave that event with a 1-page game plan of how to crush 2022. And you're actually going to have something that you can implement, that you can learn with, that you can bring back to your team. So as a guest today of Maddy and just Smith.ai's community, this is just for you. And plus you're going to get all the worksheets that we talked about after you fill out that quick survey, and just for sharing your biggest takeaway and which ones you like. So my friend, thank you. Stephanie, I want you to, if you want to have a conversation with about the free advising, I'm going to bring Stephanie on our team, and she's going to talk with you for a moment, but you actually get to meet a warm face that is going to actually give you an example of what we're going to cover if you want to take advantage of that. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Cody. An amazing job. Guys, I just want to introduce myself. If you do decide and you want to take advantage of those resources, I will be the person that you're talking to. It'll be a quick conversation with me. So go ahead and fill out the survey. book a call on my calendar and we'll talk for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to uncover the business opportunities that we have, the challenges that you're facing, and then I'm going to pair you up with the right advisor for your business and get you scheduled for some free time to build out that growth plan together. That's all I got to say. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and email Cody or myself, Stephanie, at cultivateadvisors.com, and we can help you out.
Awesome. And Cody, can I share that link to Cultivate and then your email for the code?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So that's really easy to remember. It's just Cody's email to get the registration there covered. So definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddy, what'd you take away from today?
I think, my takeaway with these planning conversations is always just eat the elephant one bite at a time, and then you'll realize that it's actually a lot more enjoyable than you worried that it wouldn't be. It can be really intimidating to do any sort of planning because there's this burden on you that feels like, oh, I have to do this or else I won't grow, or if I don't do this right, I won't grow correctly. And actually, if you don't do it at all, that's the biggest sort of detrimental effect. If you do it at all, and if you get started, I think you'll find that you really enjoy it. It's not always going to have someone as wonderful as Cody right there next to you, coaching you through it. But even in times when you're working on it independently, I think the most important thing is to find where you feel a sense of passion when you're doing these activities, and lean into that and have that be the conduit to completing the rest of the work. Like I always find if I can start thinking about marketing related stuff, then I can find connection points and how I'm going to make that happen and how the rest of the business will grow alongside that. I'm a marketing person. If you really like accounting, if you really like systems and software, if you really like process and people management, those are all things to maybe start with first. And then when you feel that fire sort of rise in your belly, then go to the other thing, because your energy will carry through to those others where you're not naturally as passionate.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Thank you.
I think it's about providing things that just can help you be more passionate as an owner. And if you have these frameworks, if you have these things set up where you can involve other people on your team, and they can be simple guides for you. And if you have someone at least talking with you about how do you bring this to your team so that they can get more and more involved, take more and more off your plate and as an owner, and also think about how these departments, and you got, even if it's one or two people, but sometimes multiple people in your company, starting to drive. Like I know that you're the head of marketing for Smith.ai. It's like you're leading that team and then we're part of the organization. And it's like, when you think about this, if you can take your business and start to make those gains, where departments are talking to other departments, they're setting goals and they're sharing them with the ownership. I mean, I've seen incredible things that people have achieved with a couple $100,000 businesses all the way up to millions plus, that if you execute that right, you can get a lot of buy-in from your team, and you can sit back and do whatever you want with your time and what matters most to you. But it really starts with these frameworks and just consistently bringing it to the table and starting.
That's the secret.
Now.
That's the secret. It's about consistency and learned behavior. Almost nobody comes to the table with natural planning skills that, from birth. It doesn't really work that way. Anyone who's good at this has spent a lot of hours doing it. And the only way to start to get good is to start putting in that time and make it a habit, make it a consistent thing that you're doing, no matter if you feel good about it or not. Sandwich it between things that you're really, really good at, so that you've got something that you feel great about, and then you've got that, and then you have something else to, again, lift your spirits, because it will eventually be that thing that you're great at, but it doesn't necessarily come, easily. It's only through habit. It's the power of habit.
Power of habit. Friend, I thank you. Maddy, it was awesome hanging out with you. To everyone that's watching this right now, again, if you want to connect with Stephanie, by all means, go ahead and do that. There's a link in the resources just up above. If you look at Amy, put that in the forms. Fill out your biggest takeaway from today. Would love to hear at least what you got from this, so I can see what was just most memorable and what you're going to go take action on. And then if you would like to either attend Catapult or you'd like to take advantage of some free advising from us just to really support you on this next year, let me know. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
everyone. Take advantage of those offers from Cody and from Stephanie. It really will make a big difference. So have a wonderful rest of the day. Cody, as always, thank you for being here. Stephanie and Amy, thanks for joining.
Thanks so much, Maddy.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Make it a
Bye.
great day. Bye-bye.